Imagine you're walking in the park on a beautiful sunny day. As you're walking, you come to an open grassy area on your path. Right in the middle of that grassy area, you see a beautiful lot of red roses growing straight up out of the ground. You stop for a moment to take in the marvelous sight. The beautiful leaves and stems that are multicolored shades of green, the dark red velvet-colored petals that look full and beautiful in the sunlight, and of course, the lovely fragrant perfume-like scent that fills the air. As you stand there, you think to yourself, wow, these roses are so beautiful. I'm going to take some of them home to give to my wife. You decide to cut some of the roses, wrap them up in a bow, and take them home as a surprise for your wife. When your wife arrives home, you present her with the gift and say to her, I was walking in the park today and came across these roses. They were so lovely and beautiful that they immediately made me think of you. So I decided to cut them and bring them home as a present to symbolize my love for you. Society would categorize that gesture as a symbolic expression of love. Roses have been used as a symbol of love and affection since ancient times, and their symbolic meaning has evolved over the centuries. In Greek mythology, Aphrodite, the goddess of love, is associated with red roses. According to this mythology, Aphrodite's tears mixed with the blood of her mortal lover, Adonis, to create the first red rose bush. Another theory is Aphrodite's beauty caused roses to grow wherever she walked, or that she pricked her thumb on a thorn of a rose while walking through a garden that Cupid had shot with an arrow. In Roman mythology, roses were associated with Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, and were said to symbolize desire and secrecy. In the Middle Ages, roses were also used to symbolize the Virgin Mary, who was known as the Rose Without Thorns. During the Victorian era, the language of flowers became popular, and different colors of roses came to have different meanings. And of course, today, the cutting of roses and giving them to someone is often used in romantic gestures and rituals, such as decorating for Valentine's Day or giving a bouquet to a loved one. The effort put into choosing a bouquet that matches someone's preferences or personalizing the arrangement can make the gift even more special and deepen the connection between people. In all, the gestures of cutting roses and giving them to someone you love has symbolic meanings steeped in mythology, religion, and ritual. However, spirituality says something entirely different. Spirituality says, don't cut that rose. If you cut that rose, the very second you cut it, it becomes dead. And even though after you cut it, the rose is still beautiful, it is no longer alive. If you cut that rose and give a dead rose to your loved one, you have now ushered in a spirit of short-lived love into your relationship with that person. Spirituality says even though when you cut the rose it doesn't scream or blood does not gush from its stem, it still feels pain. It is still a living, breathing organism that God created to function as part of our world. It has a right to live and prosper just as we do. Think about times in our society in which people are at the height of their success, reveling in the peak of their abilities, beauty, etc., in which all are marveling at their accomplishments. Then, right at that moment, they are killed or taken from the earth in a senseless act of violence or sacrifice as a result of someone else's desires for whatever reason. Many times we watch the news or social media and we see young adults whom have just graduated college or are starting a new career cut down in the prime of their lives by gun violence. Spirituality says don't cut that rose because that rose functions as an integral part of a bigger ecosystem. Roses improve the air quality by capturing air particles, nitrogen oxides, and help the ozone. Roses attract pollinators like bees and butterflies, which are important for a healthy garden ecosystem. Roses supply insects that live deep in the ground with food, provide birds with nesting sites, and shelter small mammals. Bees in particular have a very special connection with roses. The lifespan of a bee is only roughly 40 days. In those 40 days, it can pollinate up to 1,000 roses. However, when you cut that rose and take it away, you take away purpose for that bee. You take away food sources for that insect, and you take away shelter and nesting sites for other animals. If tomorrow you showed up to your place of employment and found that the company had decided to close down or lay you off, it would affect you negatively. Your life's purpose would be impacted because now you have to find another job to work at so that you can continue to provide food for yourself and your family. God placed the rose in our society for a particular purpose, just as He placed us here for a purpose as well. Some may argue that even though you cut a rose, you can still put that rose in water to survive. But the rose doesn't want to just survive. It wants to prosper, just like you and I. And it can only prosper if it's connected to a thriving community, not isolated. Of course, I would not tell you to stop the act of cutting roses and giving them to your wife unless I had a far better option. Instead of using the rose as a symbol of your love, use the rose as inspiration for your love. Let's take a look at 3 very important things God created to assist the rose in prospering. The soil, dirt, or earth provides a stable foundation for the seed of the rose. Its roots grow out of that seedling, stretch and grip upon the dirt to strengthen itself to grow upright and tall. So like the soil, be that stable support system or foundation upon which your wife can grow tall, strong, and steady herself. During the winter months, the rose does not die, but retreats back into the ground to re-germinate the seed process far away from the weather's harsh elements. Like the soil, be that layer of protection for your wife during times in her life when she cannot protect herself and is most vulnerable to attack. The rainwater provides nutrients that helps a rose thrive to its fullest capacity. Roses can absorb most of their nutrients from the soil that mixes with the rain and creates cellular growth in the rose's stems, leaves, and petals. So like the rainwater, shower your wife with your knowledge. Educate her on the things you know and encourage healthy curiosity. This will trigger a thirst for knowledge in her that she will pass on to your children. Encourage her to seek your counsel when she is unsure of the correct path. Educate her in truths at all times. No falsehoods. There will be times when these truths are uncomfortable for her to hear. Communicate the importance of critical thinking and problem-solving to her on a regular basis. Ensure she sees the positive results of using these skills in her daily life. At a certain point, she will lock in with your vibration, and the need to speak uncomfortable truths to her will slowly disappear. She will also refrain from seeking counsel from other women on relationship issues and seek counsel from you. And lastly, we have sun, or sunlight. Roses need sunlight to grow, and they thrive when it is given to them in large amounts on a regular basis. Sunlight helps roses grow through photosynthesis, a process which helps give the leaves a healthy dark green color and the petals a dark red hue. The warm energy from the sun excites the electrons in the chlorophyll leaves, which carries the energy. So like the sun gives off warmth, give your wife large amounts of affection, admiration, and attention. Work to increase her confidence, but reduce her ego. Ensure she understands she is most important to you and respected by you. This will in turn create an excitement within her that will show on the outside in her daily disposition. Your wife will in turn be happier, helpful, comforting, caring, and have a more positive perspective to life on a regular basis. When someone sees a beautiful lot of roses growing, most people attribute that beauty as a direct result of the sun shining above them. In the same way, when other people are interacting with your wife, they can sense she has a husband that is providing the essential things to help her thrive by her personality. They see a different kind of happiness, comfort, and caring side that only comes from the result of a man's positive, profound presence in her life. As I said before, using these 3 things as inspiration for your love will eliminate the need of your wife seeking relationship counsel from other women, whether it be her fellow girlfriends, married or unmarried. But it will also eliminate the interference of work husbands, ex-boyfriends, and male friends in your relationship as well. So in conclusion, instead of cutting a rose and giving it to your wife as a symbol of your love, plant a rose as inspiration for your love. The act of planting a rose shows a dedication of hard work, consistency, and care needed to maintain a relationship and make it prosper. The act of planting a rose shows a true appreciation for her life and an understanding of God's continued divine purpose for us as human beings on this planet. And most importantly, the rose gets to live. You didn't have to kill off one of God's creations to show your love to her. When you want to honor your wife with romance, love, and passion, plant a red rose. When you want to show her admiration, appreciation, and grace, plant a pink rose. Plant a yellow rose to honor friendship and happiness between you and your wife. Plant a white rose for fresh starts, well wishes, deep affection, and eternal love. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Please like, share and subscribe so that you may receive more content like this from our channel. As always, thank you for watching.